Hello everybody out there, and welcome back here with the future once again to another showcase and review, but this time it's another retro showcase and review as we take a look at some figures from 1997 by Jakks Pacific. They were the WWF Ripped and Ruthless Series 1 figures. I have 3 of them here. They're also labeled In Your House underneath on the packaging. I have 1 in the package and 2 loose. I've had 2 loose. I've had 1 loose one and the one in the package now for a while, and I have the second loose one now that I just picked up recently, and these are really cool. They actually all came, with a stand and everything, but although the only one I have the stand for, of course, is the Stone Cold one, which is mint in box still, and I have the loose Undertaker and the Mankind. I don't have the Gold Dust one in any form, but I think it's going to be kind of cool to take a look for everybody at this first series of Ripped and Ruthless figures that Jakks Pacific did back in 1997 during the bone-crunching action figure craze when the BCAs were huge in wrestling figure terms. This was like a subgenre released by Jakks. They do that. They also had like a Legends subgenre that they released as well that are just almost exactly like these, but they are of Legends instead of the current roster at the time. But these are really cool to look at. So I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching out there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a comment down below. Give me a like if you like what you see. All the feedback is much appreciated here on my channel. I have a very cool one coming up next too, so stay tuned to my channel. It's not going to be a wrestling figure one. It's going to be actually one over one of my favorite toy lines from back whenever I was a kid. Another retro showcase and review. It's going to be really cool, so stay tuned for that. And this is going to be over the Ripped and Ruthless 1997 Series 1 though. So if you came here to check those out, we're going to check them out right now, so let's check them out. Okay, so here we have 3 of the 4 Series 1 Ripped and Ruthless Jakks Pacific action figures from 1997. If you want to call them action figures, they were more like statues or figurines. They came screwed to this base here, as you can see on the Stone Cold one. He is screwed down to this base. Really cool though on the design and the details on these figurines, I thought, anyway, when I was a kid too. I didn't have them when I was a kid, but here in my later collector years I've been able to gain 3 of these now. The first one I got was the Austin. The second one is this Taker. The Undertaker one here is kind of unique because I cannot find for the life of me, if anybody can help me out, did they make a signature series or re-release this in some form? I think I saw him released in an Undertaker like 3-pack of figures as just a figure, just pressed in there with his arm down like this. If I can remember correctly, I was looking through pictures, but I'm not sure why the autograph is on the leg. Obviously it looks just like one of the signature series figures from the Bone Crunchers, but it says the Undertaker there on a Ripped and Ruthless fig. But I'm still counting them as a Series 1 fig because he is the same exact figurine or figure as even on the stamp here. He is stamped 1997 Jakks Pacific, if you can see there at all. But yeah, definitely counting him as a Series 1 figure though in the collection, because until I get this is kind of like a placeholder until I get the actual one, or if I ever get the actual one, because I'm thinking this is some kind of re-release or something. But still, very, very awesome looking detailed figure of the Undertaker. This is when he was in his like era after the purple gloves and the gray glove era, and he started wearing the more dark colors. He came down in like the bat cape at like Survivor Series 1996, I think it was, and then he started the more darker character that would lead into the Lord of Darkness character with the Ministry and everything. So this is like the beginning of his, this is like when he was ready to battle Kane and everything, his brother Kane, for the first time. But very cool detail. It looks great. It's made, just like the Bone Crunchers. It has rubber arms, rubber legs, and the body is solid in the middle, and the head obviously cannot be, there's no articulation in the head. Can't be turned because it's just kind of glued down there, even though it does look like it can. That's the weird thing about Bone Crunchers. They look like you could move the head, but you can't. But of course the arms, rotate 360 on these. As you can see here, it takes a little bit of effort, but it does rotate 360. And then you have, your other arm here too. But yeah, overall, really cool looking figure of the Undertaker. if you ask me. And looks very cool, you know, posed and everything too. They're kind of hard to get standing sometimes, these figures too. Like I said, they come with those display stands, and it'd be a lot, you know, easier to stand these guys if I had the display stand. But there's a nice little pose for you of the Lord of Darkness, the Undertaker there. Very cool. Let's take a look at this other loose one here that I have. I picked this one up recently, and this is the newest one that I have of Mankind, aka Mick Foley, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, the Three Faces of Foley. But this is one of his coolest characters, in my opinion, the original Mankind. The original Mankind, you know, was a lot different than the later Mankind that wore like the suit and tie shirt and was throwing himself off the Hell in the Cell and stuff. He was more of like a deranged, just crazy, demented, you know, on the lines of like Silence of the Lambs, you know, Hannibal Lecter type, you know, mask and everything. You know, the hair missing, and you could even see that on this figure. And I think to this day that this is one of the best original Mankind figures ever released, as far as detailing and the look. And you can even see on the boots there, they went as far as, you know, like have like the sleeves over the boots that were buckled there. And you can even see the boots like sculpted. Apart from that, the shirt was a hard plastic, like I said, but the rest, you know, that rubber that they used in the Bone Crunchers, but just not as, you know, movable. But these are very cool figures, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. It's probably, as a kid, I thought they were some of the most detailed figures that I saw, like, in the stores and stuff. But, yeah. Undertaker and Mankind. These guys had a lot of battles, too. Actually, Undertaker was the one who threw Mankind, you know, off the cell at Hell in the Cell when they had their Hell in the Cell match. So, that's kind of cool that these two come in the set like that. But of course he had the suit and tie look going on whenever they battled there. But yeah, they had a lot of epic matches, like the Boiler Room Brawl is one you could recreate with these two. 7 inches tall too on these figures, so obviously they weren't going to tie in with your, you know, regular Bone Crunchers at the time. But there's a look at the Mankind. I love the logo here, the Mankind logo on the shirt or the top or whatever you want to call this that he wore. And on his back here too. Very reminiscent of Abyss from TNA. Looking at that shirt and everything, you know, you could see where he got all his influence from the original Mankind. A lot of it anyway. But very, very sweet figure here of the deranged Mankind. And I like the sculpting on the face there of this guy too. Like I said, probably one of the best original Mankind figures to this day that you can get. And then you have the Stone Cold here, mint in package. And you gotta love this. The World Wrestling Federation logo at the top. Your Ripped and Ruthless at the bottom. I've showed this off plenty of times. These all came with the card. Your Stone Cold Steve Austin card there. Official biography card, they called it. And then turning it around to the back here, you can see other figures. You had the Legends line. Collect them all fast and get out of the way. And you can see the other figures that you get there were the Superfly Snuka, Captain Lou Albano, Andre the Giant, and Classy Freddie Blassie, excuse me, in that sombrero there that was kind of weird. Instead of putting him in his more classic manager gear that I remember as a kid from guys that era, would probably remember him more as that, not the actual wrestling Classy Freddie Blassie. But of course you have the Signature Series down here below too, featured, and that Gold Dust is the only one from the set that I do not have currently. I have the other 3, but you see that it is not the Signature Series one there that I have. But yeah, each one has that display base too, and you can see down here that it says, before giving this figure to a child, an adult should use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove screws holding the figure to the base from underneath. You had your Jakks on the bottom and everything too. So yeah, they were screwed into the base, and you can see there 1997 Titan Sports. But yeah, packaging was not the greatest of Jakks, but I thought these had pretty cool packaging. So yeah, there's a look at the Series 1 1997 Jakks Pacific Ripped and Ruthless figures. And like I said, always one of my favorite sets. A pretty cool set that was released by Jakks during the Bone Crunching action figure era in '97. But yeah, guys, until next time, make sure you do all that I mentioned at the beginning of the vid. Appreciate the watch. Keep collecting. And as always, guys, till next time, peace out.